Namaste. Namaste is a greeting in the Sanskrit yoga Indian tradition, which speaks about the inner light within, that's within all of us. So when we greet one another and we say Namaste, it literally means the inner light in me sees the inner light in you. Let it shine brightly. It's a lovely greeting, isn't it? In this beginner's yoga video, we're going to cover the basics of yoga, which is first of all the breathing, and we'll do a little warm up and cover the Sun Salutation series with some standing postures for about 30 minutes or so. So this is absolutely relevant to complete beginners to yoga, and it's going to be a good introduction in the basics. So welcome. All you need is your mat. You might need perhaps a cushion to sit on, or you might need something to pad your knees, like a folded up blanket if you should need it. Otherwise just your mat, and we'll come and rest on our backs first. We'll start off with the breathing. So come and lay down on your back in constructive rest. Knees are bent, feet are hip width apart. I'm going to take the arms out beside us with the palms turning upwards so that your collarbones can broaden and your shoulder blades will rest flat on the ground. So just take a moment here to arrive, and then we're going to take one hand to the belly and one hand to the chest. And then closing your eyes, as you breathe in, direct your breath down towards the diaphragm and towards the belly. So as you breathe in, hand on the belly rises up, and then it reaches all the way up to the upper part of your lungs for a nice full breath. And as you exhale, the breath returns back. So we'll do a few rounds like that. So this is called diaphragmatic breathing. You'll notice there's a slight pause at the end of the inhale when you have a full breath. And that we're taking our time to breathe in and we're taking our time to breathe out. So it's not like usual breathing where we're just breathing in and out unconsciously. In this way of breathing, we have an opportunity to control the breath. And this is a fundamental part of yoga, vinyasa yoga. Vinyasa in Sanskrit, Sanskrit being one of the oldest languages, and it's the language of yoga. Yoga was documented around 2,500 years ago in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, and he laid out the whole practice of yoga, which is essentially about attention to the breath, but also about being able to focus the mind. So vinyasa means to place with specific attention and to link that attention to the breath. So now we're going to get in touch with more of a three-dimensional way of breathing. So you can actually bring your hands to the sides of your ribs. So as you kind of cup the sides of your ribs, the lower ribs, start to close your eyes, and as you take a breath inwards, direct your breath out towards the hands, and you'll feel a lateral movement of the ribs sideways. And as you exhale, you'll notice that the waist comes back in, the ribs come back in, they return back to neutral. And we'll do that again. Now, as you do this, you might notice that it's easier to breathe in or it's easier to breathe out. Or maybe you don't find a difference between the inhale or the exhale. But if you do, know that it's normal. And we're breathing in ways that we're not used to. So what we're doing here is we're stretching the diaphragm, which is a muscle that is the main muscle of breathing, and it spans the entire rib cage. It's in the shape of often described as being in the shape of an umbrella. So that when we breathe in, it moves down, it contracts downwards to pull the breath in. And when we exhale, it moves back up to push the breath out. It doesn't actually feel like we're pulling or pushing the breath. And you might hear that I'm making a sound with my breath. It's almost like a sort of Darth Vader breathing. But if you place 2 fingers on your throat space and take all of your attention there, you might start to narrowly constrict the airways so that you can almost narrow the airways and kind of pull the thread of the breath in. And you'll make a sound at the throat space. This is known as Ujjayi breath. This is a pranayama. Pranayama relates to an aspect of yoga which is concentrating on breath work. And I said this is the fundamentals of the yoga. So just do your best, and it feels like you're making a deep sigh, a sound that is like a sigh with the mouth closed. Just breathing in and out through the nose. And we can try that releasing the hands beside us and breathing in and out through the mouth. So this is an open-mouthed Ujjayi breath. Okay, let go of that. And we'll start to warm up and have a little stretch out of the body first. So bring both knees in towards your chest and take the knees about as wide as your shoulder blades. Now, bringing the palms on top of the kneecaps as you inhale, stretch the arms out long, breathing in. And as you exhale, draw the knees in towards the ribs. So we'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling, straighten the arms. And you'll feel a rocking on the back of the pelvis. Exhale, a flattening of the back of the pelvis onto the ground and the lower back. 1 more. And then bringing both feet back down onto the ground. Lift your right knee in towards your chest. Interlace your hands over the shin. And then start to just bring that knee outwards, around, circumnavigating the ribs, and then bringing that knee towards your armpit. Keep hold of the knee. And then start to stretch your left leg straight out. Toes point up towards the sky and the heel touches the ground. Good, really nice. Take a deep breath, squeezing that right shin in. It's a nice little hip opener. We've got compression on one side. And try not to roll the left hip up. In fact, you can bring your left hand onto that left hip point so that the left shoulder is flat to the ground. Good, really nice. And then we're going to lift the left shin up, switch sides. So you thread your fingers together and lace them on top of that left shin. Extend that right leg long and just notice how that just opens up the energy on the right side. Let's find a little bit more space on the left hip. We're going to take the left knee outwards so we can circumnavigate the ribs. So that now your knee is moving towards that left armpit. Keep stretching out through that right heel. Bring the right hand onto the right hip point. Relax the right shoulder back so your collarbones are nice and broad. And take a deep breath in. Good. Now from here, draw the right knee up. I'm going to take the feet wide. So we'll split the feet apart, press the feet up towards the sky. And this is known as happy baby. You might take hold of your shins. The arms are on the inside of the knees. And you can gently press the elbows out to the inner knees to open up the adductors, that's the inner thigh muscles. Now wherever you can hold is absolutely fine. Maybe some of you take the big toes like a happy baby.
And you can pull down with the hands and push up with the feet, and that's going to give you a stronger sensation around the hip joints. If you like that sensation, you can keep doing that. If that's too much for you, then just relax here and just let the hip open with a relaxed kind of grip, if you like, on the ankles. And we're going to rock a little bit from side to side. This gives us a little massage on the back. Now, placing both feet back onto the mat, we're going to take the right ankle and place it on top of the left thigh. Flex that foot and the heel is off, so you're making kind of a figure four. Let's lift the left foot up and thread the right hand through the gap, and you can take either your fingers behind that left thigh or the shin if you can reach. And in fact, you could lift your head up to grab hold of that, and then place your head back down and just give that a little squeeze. Your sensation, your focus will be centered around this part of the glute, this muscle around here where you'll feel a stretch. Now in yoga, nothing should hurt at all, but we want to feel a stretch. Now if this is too much for knees or too intense, just relax your grip and take the back of the thigh. Good. Now take some ujjayi breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more. Great. So staying in the pose, breathing, that helps to open up the muscles. Now what we're going to do here is take a little twist, and I'm just going to shimmy to the side a little bit so I've got a bit more space. Taking your arms out about shoulder width apart. What we're going to do is keep the shape of the figure four. Imagine that your ankle is glued to that left thigh. I'm going to keep the shape and take a little twist to the left so the right toes come down onto the ground. Now turning your head to look to the right and reaching the right hip bone towards the end of the mat. You'll get a nice stretch in this twist, in this side seam here. And then just breathe. Now we're going to come back to center, keeping that figure four shape. Unthread that foot, come back to neutral. Great, come back to constructive rest. We're going to pick up the left ankle and place it on top of the right thigh with the foot flexed. Nice figure four, lifting up that right foot. You can grab hold of the back of your thigh or the shin. And if you want to lift your head up, that can feel like a really nice stretch on your shoulders. And then rest your head back, taking 3 breaths, inhaling. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then slide your arms outwards. Palms face up towards the sky. We're going to take that twist until the left foot arrives on the ground. And we'll turn the head towards the left, taking 3 breaths here. That's 1. 2. 3. So you'll notice that we're taking time with the breath. Let's come back to the center. Unthread and unlace that foot. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Now if you're feeling okay in your lower back, why aren't you going to rock up and down? Now as you rock up and down, you're flicking the legs back and then you're coming forward, splitting the knees and leaning forwards in this forward fold. We'll do that a couple more times. And that gives a really nice stretch and massage in the back, stretching the neck. Now we're going to come onto all fours, so we'll turn around and we'll come into what's called tabletop. Now your hands are placed directly beneath the shoulders, the knees are underneath the hips, and the back is more or less flat, observing the natural curves actually. So as you push into the hands, your arms are nice and straight. The inner elbows turn in slightly, and then the collarbones lift into the chest. And then you're toning the belly, so draw the belly button in, pressing into the ground. Good. Take a deep breath in here, and as you inhale, curl your toes underneath you
And stretch your tailbone back, lifting your chest forwards. This is known as cow pose. Now as you exhale, slide the toes away, push into the ground, lift the belly button into the body, tailbone roots down, head hangs here. This is cat pose. So we're going to move between these two poses, inhaling cow pose, lengthening your tailbone back, exhaling, arching your spine into cat. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling cow, exhaling, arching into cat pose. So that gives a really nice flexion and extension of your spine. Let's come back to neutral. Now we're going to extend that right leg back so the leg is straight. Just rock back and forth a little bit until you feel a nice stretch on the back of the calf. You're getting a stretch on the foot as well. Now come back to stillness here. I'm going to lift that right leg up. Good, so finding balance. Now squeeze the right inner seam of the leg towards the midline. Imagine there's a line on the center of your mat. And you want your heel to be more or less in line with that hip. Now we're going to push into the right hand for support and extend that left leg, left arm long. And then we're going to touch knee and elbow together as we curl in. Inhale, you unfurl. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale and exhale. Take your time. You have to push down through the top of your left foot, left shin, and we'll do 2 more. And then if you look straight down at your mat, that's going to help you find some balance there. Okay, so bring the left hand down, right shin down. We're going to take a child's pose. So this is a child's pose with the arms extended. You might want to make a little bit of space for your chest by bringing the knees outwards and the toes touch. And then that helps you to root the tailbone back and get a really nice stretch in the back muscles. It can feel really nice to come into what we call embryo child's pose, where we take the arms back so that the hands are beside the feet. And that's quite nice and open for the shoulders and the chest. So take one more breath here. And then see if you can lift the belly button in towards the body as though you're zipping up. And there's a little tone on the belly there, and you'll feel your tailbone root back. Now come up onto all fours, and we'll do the other side. Extend the left foot back. So this is what we might call half a plank, and we're just going to rock back and forth so we can stretch the back of the calf, hamstrings. And you get a nice little stretch on that left foot. And then we're going to pick up the left foot. So left heel in line with the hip, hugging the belly in to support that lift, pressing into the left hand, extending the right arm long, and then almost framing the head as you look down at the mat. And as you exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Curl as you exhale. Inhale, open. Curl as you exhale. Inhale. And we'll do 2 more. And just 1 more. And you'll notice that one side feels easier to balance. We'll come back to all fours, neutral spine, cow. As you tuck the toes, looking forwards, collarbones are broad, open your heart. And as you exhale, arch into a cat. And that should feel really, really nice here. And again, inhale, cow. Exhale into cat pose. So this is a really nice way to just let your head hang. Now we're going to take the hips back to your child's pose. The arms are extended, and then stretch your fingertips forwards and bring your hands almost as wide as your mat. When you're first beginning, the fingertips want to close in, but as we stretch the fingers wide, we're getting as much surface area from the hands, so that when we start to lean into the hands, we get as much support as we can. So what we're going to do here is come back to that neutral spine, tuck the toes, shift the hips back, and we're going to come upside down into a sort of pyramid shape of a pose called downward facing dog. Now the arms remain completely straight, the shoulders are away from the hands, the spine is lengthening back. Now it takes a while when you first begin this to find the right distance between your hands and your feet that feels comfortable. We don't want to lock the legs back, that would be locking the legs back. You want to soften and engage the quadriceps, your thigh muscles,
And lift your hip points, which are these bony protrusions here, up into the body. And then imagine you're lengthening your spine back. And the head hangs here, so the neck is long. Now we're going to walk the hands towards the feet to come into a forward fold. This is known as Uttanasana. We'll take the elbows and the palms. And if you're feeling a little bit tight in your hamstrings or your lower back, then you can soften the knees and just hang here. So essentially we're upside down. We're just going to take a breath or two here. And then let's walk the hands back to that downward dog position. Finding the down dog, pressing the palms and pushing the earth strongly as we lengthen back. Now, one of the things we can feel here when we first start out in our downward facing dog is that the shoulders can hike up towards the ears and scrunch up, and we want to really relax the neck. So if you can, imagine your triceps is kind of rolling towards the earth. There's an action of what we call external rotation. And it's almost like the armpits want to shine in towards each other. Imagine they were headlamps and they want to shine in towards each other. And as you push back, what you'll feel is kind of an engagement of these side muscles here, like the Incredible Hulk. They're known as the serratus muscles. We want to engage those because when the shoulder heads fall in towards the ears, that relaxes. So we want to engage those and tone them back. Now I'm going to walk the feet towards the hands, coming towards the top of your mat. And this time we'll place the hands onto the shins, lifting halfway. As you exhale, fold. Good, let's do that 2 more times. The feet are hip with the part toes pointing forwards. Let's bring the hands to the shins. Inhale and exhale, fold. 1 more time. Inhale, you lengthen your spine to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Now we're going to rise all the way to stand. So as we circle the arms all the way up, lifting the belly, lifting the chest, and reaching the palms to meet all the way up to stand, hands to the heart. We're going to come into Tadasana. Tadasana is known as mountain pose. So this is where we align all the joints in the body. We find this anatomical position of the body of alignment. Now if I bend my knees and I track the center of the knees down the shin, that will line me up with my second, third toe. And if I draw a line up the thighs, it will align me up with these hip points here. And if I place the heel of the hands here and point the fingertips forwards, that's my hip width, okay? So that's what we align with here. Good. If I turn the palms forwards, that broadens the collarbones here. My chest is open, I can breathe. And then if I lift up through the crown, imagining there's a string there lengthening up, or that there's a plumb line all the way down the center line of the body, that's going to align through all the curves of the spine, and the tailbone gets heavy and drops down. Let's see if we can visit Ujjayi breathing. So we're going to bring 2 fingers to the throat space. You might want to close your eyes for this, and then just breathing, slightly narrowing the windpipe here. Finding that thread of the breath, the texture, brushing the throat, making that sighing sound. This is Ujjayi breath, conqueror's breath. Now once you've got that, see if you can remove the fingers and maintain that Ujjayi breath. Okay, we're going to move into our half sun salutation. I'm going to face forwards to the front of the mat, standing with the feet hip width apart. Circle your arms up as you inhale, with the palms turning up towards the sky. Palms meet in prayer, bring that down the midline to the heart space. Start to forward fold. Exhaling. Inhale, halfway lift. This is Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. This is Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, wing the arms up, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to the heart, back to your Namaste or Anjali Mudra. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift as you inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Rise to stand as you inhale. Hands back to the heart as you exhale. 1 more. Circle the arms up, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale.
Rise back to stand, inhale, back to the heart, exhale. Half sun salutation. We'll move it on to a full sun salutation. Inhale, circle the arms up. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale, lengthen, flat back. Press the palms onto the mat, step back to plank pose. So we're stretching all the way back. Good. Now from here, we're actually going to push back into that downward facing dog. And then inhale, we rock forwards, coming back to our plank. The shoulders are directly beneath above the wrists, and we're pushing into the ground to broaden the shoulder blades. Now draw the belly back and take the hips up and back, downward facing dog. And we're going to inhale, rock forwards to the plank. Good. Now a half plank or tabletop. Let's bring the shins down, knees down, relax the toes. Now look forwards and bring your chest forwards, and as you do that, your hips will come forwards, lowering towards the ground. Bend your elbows back, slide them against the sides of the ribs, and let your belly, chest, chin touch the ground. And pressing through the tops of the feet, we're going to inhale and just lift the chest, hugging those elbows in. This is Cobra Pose. Nice little mild back bend. Now push into the hands, look into the ground. And then as you push into the hands, lifting the belly button back, hips towards your heels, lift your hips up. This is downward facing dog. Now keep actively pushing your hands into the ground so the shoulders are moving back, hips are moving up and back. And we're going to stay for 2 more breaths. So inhaling. If you find that you slip and it feels too much of a stretch, then you can shorten your stride, softening the knees. 1 more breath. Inhaling here, bending the knees, and start to look forwards. As you exhale, you walk your feet forwards to the top of the mat. Hands to your shins. Lift halfway, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Rise to stand, inhale, palms meet. Back to the heart, exhale. Sweep the arms up, inhale. Let's continue on. Forward fold as you exhale. Hands to the shins, inhale, halfway lift. Step back to plank, exhale. Now we're going to pause into plank as you inhale, push the ground. And then as you exhale, keeping the belly lifted in, just draw the shins down, relax the toes. Look forwards, lift your chest and let your hips come down. Elbows slide back, belly, chest, chin. Now press down through the tops of the feet, lift your chest, inhale here. Press back to your downward facing dog, tucking the toes as you exhale. We'll stay for 3 breaths, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhale, exhale. So as we stay and we breathe, we're really just stretching out the body. We are using this isometric stretch. As you push into the ground, you're activating the muscles, you're waking the muscles of the arms up, toning them to support you. And as we exhale, we walk the feet towards the hands. Bring the hands to the shins and lengthen, halfway lift. This is a forward fold as you exhale, rise to stand on the inhale, circling the arms up, palms touch. Back to the heart as you exhale. That's a Sun Salutation A. Good. Let's do it again. Inhale. Exhale. So 1 breath, 1 movement. Inhale. Exhale, plank. Inhale, plank. Shins down. Come all the way down as you exhale. Inhale, cobra. Press back to downward dog. Exhale. Staying for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. Now as you inhale, bend the knees. As you exhale, you walk your feet to your hands. As you get to the top, halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale, rise to stand as you inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good. Let's come back to Tadasana. So noticing how you feel from that sun salutation, from the breath work, from the warm-up that we did on the ground, to our standing mountain pose. Good, so that completes this practice today, this beginner's practice. The second video will be moving into our standing poses sequence and come back to our sitting pose and then a final Shavasana. Namaste.